Yo guys, what's going on? Insanity coming back at you today with episode number 1 of the Gamer Insanity Show. This is going to be a YouTube show slash podcast hybrid. I really don't know what the hell you can really call this show. It's bad enough that I'm already calling the show after my own name here. But more importantly, if you are watching this over on YouTube, this is where things are going to be happening first. You are going to be able to get early access to this weekly show, or however many times I decide to go ahead and publish this thing out. This is still in very early stages, but more importantly, I just needed to get some content out there, get something going, because if I never start this thing, I'm never actually going to get it rolling. So welcome to episode number 1. Let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Last week was absolutely crazy in the world of the gaming world. I mean, we've been waiting and clamoring for some Xbox Series X, next generation, PS5, news, gameplay, and all that kind of stuff. And last week, did Microsoft actually deliver? They have this behemoth of a next generation console that is basically a PC in a small console form factor that people are going to be able to enjoy on their high refresh TVs, 120 hertz, 4K, 8K, whatever the hell you want to call it, 1080p, 120 hertz, this and that. It's going to be all over the place. And gosh, I just kind of feel there were some things that really caught my eye during that entire presentation. I thought it was kind of funny that they decided to go ahead and only showcase things that are coming in the future. They didn't want to go ahead and try and re-showcase that Gears 5 technical demo showcasing what it would look like and run on Xbox Series X upgraded to that. But games like The Medium, I love survival horror games, and The Medium definitely caught my eye. That is one I'm going to be looking forward to in the future. Psychological horror is freaking awesome, and this one looks like it's really going to be right there up my alley. And I'd really love to go ahead and hear your ideas on what you think this game is going to be all about, trying to interact with the paranormal, trying to interact with the outside world, and how they're all going to clash together. And it's just going to be absolutely crazy. Now, Bloodlines 2. The Masquerade, it's a game that's been a long time coming, and I still feel that although this entire presentation that Microsoft was putting on was supposed to be all about gameplay, and a lot of things that we got were cinematics or portrayed as actual Xbox Series X potential gameplay, and it's what it's expected to be like, but it's not true to form actual gameplay running with a HUD or anything like that, or someone actually playing. And I think that's where they really dropped the ball with this entire presentation. Is this was a golden opportunity for Microsoft to sit there and be like, hey, here's a controller in my hand, this is me playing a game, this is Xbox Series X running in its current state at this time with this pre-build of whatever game it may be. And I really feel that I didn't really want to go ahead and try and rush this video out. I didn't want to try and make this podcast come out so quickly without me having anything written, having any type of guidelines or anything like that. But after today, and seeing what was put out by Ubisoft and how they're going to be doing their digital showcase, their E3 equivalent this year for 2020, it's going to be on July 12th. It's actually really exciting because I can only hope and can't wait to see new things like Watch Dogs. I can't wait to see possibly a new Splinter Cell, a new Prince of Persia, continuation of whatever's going on in the Division 2, whether that be at that point, maybe season 4, or maybe a raid preview or something. I mean, I know they say we're getting the raid in the Division 2 in the springtime still, but summer is very fastly approaching, so they better hurry up and get that thing put out. But yeah, I mean, high hopes for Ubisoft every year. It's one of the most exciting conferences I look forward to, and all the premieres and showcases and all that stuff. And although we're not getting a true E3 this year, it's still nice to see that everything's still going to be happening in digital form, that we're still going to be able to go ahead and cover right here over on this channel. Now, the next thing, like I said, I didn't want to try and rush this out because this is all going off the top of my head. It's just wham bam, throwing it out there outside of my mouth, from my brain to my mouth, over and over. And that is what Ubisoft had to announce about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, this has been by far the most hyped game over the past 3 weeks or so. They did a little art teaser. It lasted a good 8-9 hours or so of actually, portraying and saying, hey, Assassin's Creed is going to the Viking Age. It's going to be called Valhalla. It's going to be during this time. We got a whole bunch of information. We got a cinematic trailer. We got this and that. And they said, oh, first gameplay is going to be during the Microsoft showcase, showcasing gameplay for the very first time. And, everyone got excited. Everyone got hyped up. And we wound up getting this cinematic gameplay trailer. And I think this is exactly where a lot of companies fall short on trying to do gameplay premieres, is they rely heavily more on cinematics to try and tell their story and preview a game, much more than just having someone stand there and play or talk through an actual demo of what's going on. I think that's what is so nice about the E3 conferences these days, is they try to be as transparent as possible. Yes, not everything is 100% real time, but they'll at least throw a gameplay demo up there and explain to you what is going on and how it works and the new HUD and the new features and how this is working with this, or if there's a brand new feature, they get an opportunity to go ahead and try and set that up and showcase it in a way that makes it seem extremely important or special. And when you had an opportunity to really sit there and watch this entire cinematic gameplay, and I'm using air quotes for gameplay trailer. Yes, it is technically gameplay. It's what you will see in the game, but it's pretty much 100% going to be everything that you will see in cinematic form. There is no over-the-shoulder camera view, if that's how the game is even going to be played. I'm sure it will. We don't get any look at the inventory system. We don't get any look at the HUD. We don't get to see how he interacts with the world, if there's going to be any crazy, verticality or being able to traverse the world in traditional Assassin's Creed fashion, or if this is going to be much more hardcore, straight up, where's the stealth? I mean, everyone's still wondering where the stealth is. And yes, I know the combat is going to be based on a much more brutal style that the Vikings are known for, but yeah, this is where they dropped the ball, right? The biggest game that they had to showcase, and it was all cinematic. It was all running at 30 frames per second. And now they sit there and they make an announcement today that with this behemoth of a system, the Xbox Series X, the world's most powerful console, coming out in holiday 2020, you're going to be able to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 4K 30 FPS. All right. So you're telling me if I go and buy this game on my Xbox One, I'm going to have smart delivery, so I'll automatically get it on my Series X if I upgrade. And it's going to run with higher textures. The game is going to look probably a lot better, but it's going to have almost the same performance as I would get on my Xbox One. Why? I just don't understand it. Even Phil Spencer himself mentioned in a way earlier interview with some other company somewhere else and said, we are trying to dedicate this generation to performance and frame rates more than anything else. Yes, our system can do 8K. Yes, it can do 120 hertz, whatever it may be. Sure, you're not going to get 120 hertz at 8K because that's just absolutely ridiculous. You can't even do that on PC these days, running, multiple 2080 Ti's. I mean, geez, that's insane to think about. But to sit there and say, okay, we're going to give you a 1080p 1440 option running at 60 plus hertz. I think that should be the golden standard for console gaming this generation, especially when you look at what's in these systems. I mean, M.2s, ridiculous GPUs, Zen 2 architecture CPUs from AMD. Like, yes, this is strictly said for the Xbox Series X. We don't know anything about the PlayStation 5 because everything about that is so quiet. No one's going to say anything about the game performance on that until Sony's ready to release any of that information. But as it stands right now, your benchmark that you're shooting for right now for Assassin's Creed Valhalla on next generation platforms is going to be putting people at 4K 30 FPS. I don't know if that means it's going to have an option for players to go ahead and use an adaptive frame rate, or if this is going to be locked at 30 FPS. Either way, it's kind of mind-boggling that when you're trying to introduce a brand new console generation, that you wouldn't have a bar set saying that everything that's going to be launching holiday with the launch of this platform, nothing is going to be below this standard. And being that games have been at 30 frames per second for the longest period of time, hell, just the idea of trying to think back to, let's go back to Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, right? 2007. What was their bar? We want to make sure that Call of Duty is extremely smooth and it runs great. So what did they do on 360? They made it 720p and gave you a higher frame rate, giving you the ability to reduce your resolution to give you a higher frame rate for a much smoother gameplay experience, in my opinion, and I'm just a regular gamer who sits there and looks at games all day long, I can tell you I enjoy having a much smoother and faster gameplay experience than resolution. I've had 4K monitors, and I can tell you, I still go down to 1440. I'm not using 1440 ultra wide on PC, but I have a 2080 Ti, and I try and get 100 frames per second on everything that I play because I just feel that it's a much more enjoyable experience. And yes, I already pre-ordered Assassin's Creed Valhalla on PC. I'm still very interested in the next generation of consoles. I don't want you to sit there and think that this isn't something that I enjoy, because I love the idea of having a console in my bedroom or in my living room where I might be able to go ahead and continue a cross-save game that I've enjoyed over on PC, or still getting to do a cross-play experience with people across different platforms. And the only way that cross-play is going to be hindered in this next generation is if they continue doing this type of experience. If you're not going to give high frame rates, how can PC players be allowed to play with console players on PS5 and Xbox Series X if they're not on equal playing ground? Anyways, guys, this is just me rambling my head off. I know that this was completely unscripted. It's just my mind just rambling on through my mouth, and I really hope that you have some sort of an idea of where this show is going to be going in the future. But more importantly, this is not going to be about me complaining. This is not going to be about me praising something. It's going to be about gaming news. It's going to be about what I've done, what I've played, what I think, and that is that. And hopefully you'll be able to go ahead and share your opinions and your thoughts in the comments below if you're over on YouTube. And if you find this on some sort of podcast platform, then you got Twitter to yell at me, you got my YouTube to yell at me, you got my Discord to yell at me, and all of that good stuff. Anywho, I'm Insanity. This is the Gamer Insanity Show, and I'm signing off. Peace out.